Today I'd like to discuss the difference between a chemical exfoliant and a physical exfoliant, because not all exfoliants are the best for all skin types. Let me explain that for a minute. If you have a very sensitive skin, the worst thing you can do is actually use an exfoliant that's going to stimulate your blood circulation. So something that's got granules in, as an example. Also, if you have an acne skin and it's an active acne skin, you're also going to have a problem there, because you're obviously going to have the breakouts, there's going to be inflammation, and there's of course also going to be the bacteria that can be spread. So that's why that type of exfoliant, a granular exfoliant, is not good for that skin type. So the two different exfoliants we get, which is we call the chemical exfoliant and also the physical exfoliant. Now, physical exfoliant is something that's got an abrasive texture. So it could be a small facial brush that's got soft bristles. It could be a nylon cloth or nylon gloves that you can use on your body, a loofah, a dry body brush as an example, or it could also be a granular scrub. So whether it has got, like nuts or seeds that's been kind of grinded into small spheres, or it's got small silicone balls in, that is all what we call a physical exfoliation. So that means physically you're going to take your hand and you're going to rub it on your skin, or you're going to use something and then use it on the body itself. Now, that type of exfoliation is not good for a sensitive skin and is not good for an acne skin, because there's too much blood circulation that's being created or generated, and then of course we are just going to make the inflammation far worse. There's also a thinking behind some of the balls that's being made, or the granules, might not be 100% round and gentle enough, and they can actually have sharp edges that could create small microcuts on the skin, which of course is not something that we want to do. The other thing about physical exfoliation is that it doesn't really remove a lot of dead skin cells. It mostly works on what we call the stratum disjunctum and the top layers of the stratum corneum. So it's not a long-lasting, beautiful, glow, smooth skin that you're going to get afterwards. But it is really nice for something like blackheads, as an example. However, my favorite type of exfoliation is the chemical exfoliation, and that is made up of a blend or 1 or 2 alpha and beta hydroxy acids normally. Our only beta hydroxy acid we have is the salicylic acid. What that does is, in between the cells in the stratum corneum, we have what we call desmosomes, or little arms that the cells hold onto one another. And also in between those cells is that beautiful natural moisturizing factor. So imagine it to be like moisture in between your cells, a little bit like cement in between bricks to keep the bricks together. That moisture and the little bonds, or the desmosomes, keep actually those skin cells together. Now, something, for instance, like a phytic acid helps to get rid of those bonds so that it can fall off. But alpha and beta hydroxy acids' main focus is to actually go into the skin, so to be absorbed in between, to dissolve that natural moisturizing factor, to help to dissolve those bonds so that those dead skin cells can fall off. It works much, much deeper into the stratum corneum in comparison to a physical, exfoliation. So you actually get a much more longer lasting effect, which will be a smooth, radiant, glowing skin. But then what is really great about it is, as those acids penetrate the skin, you also find that every time we have a dead skin that falls off, there's a beautiful new skin or a new cell that's being born in the kind of basal layer of the epidermis, so the deepest layer of the epidermis. So therefore we have what we call cell regeneration that we're kind of stimulating within the skin itself. And that is absolutely vital if you're fighting things like acne, hyperpigmentation, even dehydration, because those deeper cell layers actually have far more hydration in, so that they really will make your skin look plumper and healthier, and it actually gives you a much better protection. Key thing to remember though is that your chemical exfoliants come in a variety of products. So it could come in a cream, it could come in a serum, it could come in a leave-on gel or a leave-on clay that you put on the skin, or leave-on cream. So it is something that can sometimes be used every day, or if it is a high concentration at a lower pH, it should be used like once or twice a week. So you really need to look at your product that you're using to make sure that you're using it correctly at the end of the day. I just absolutely love it, because even the most sensitive skin can use it. when it comes to choosing that chemical exfoliation, you need to look at the pH. The lower the pH, the stronger the formulation will be. The higher the percentage of acid, then also the stronger that will be. And then most companies actually use a blend of alpha and beta hydroxy acids. So you'll get like a phytic acid with a lactic acid and a glycolic acid and a salicylic acid and sometimes a mandelic acid. So really amazing. And they work on different mechanisms within the skin, but ultimately the main focus as an exfoliating product is to remove the dead skin cells and stimulate beautiful new cells in the deeper layers. So if I go and shop, I would possibly only look for a chemical exfoliation because that can be used on any skin type, but just make sure that you get a good, credible, quality product. And if you do like the more physical exfoliation, I get that. I used to love scrubs when I was a teenager because it really helps with those blackheads. Make sure that you get something that's got beautiful little round spheres in, or you can use, like what I do, for instance, is I have a cleanser that's got a 15% glycolic acid in, and I put that on my skin, and towards the end, I leave it on for a few minutes. I then take a little brush with soft bristles, and I then do small little rotaries. Then I'm pretty much getting the best of both worlds. I'm getting a chemical and a physical exfoliation in one, helping to lift out little blackheads or kind of clear the skin and clean the skin better. So that is another option. Don't use anything too harsh or too strong on the skin. You never ever want to compromise your skin or create small cuts on that skin itself. So care for your skin. I love exfoliation. It's absolutely vital. If you don't exfoliate your skin will start looking dull. You also find that your serums and your moisturizers will not be able to penetrate like it actually ultimately should on the skin. And as we get older, that whole cell renewal rate in the epidermis actually slows down. So to give you an idea, when you were a teenager, it will take about 12 days for the cell to be born in the basal cell layer of the epidermis and to migrate and become that stratum corneum, stratum disjunctum cell to actually fall off. When we get older, that process then starts taking 30 days, hence the every once a month you have to have a facial. That's where that came from. And then as we get older, it could take up to 90 days before we actually have those basal cell layers become a kind of what we know as a dead cell in the stratum corneum or stratum disjunctum. So exfoliation is key. I love it. I think it's important for a healthy, type of skin. And I hope that this helps you when you go shopping for your next exfoliation type of product.